Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly incredible methodology, the timeless art of using allegories and representations to make the most profound, deeply abstract truths actually easy to understand. If you have ever banged your head against a wall trying to grasp a complex philosophical or spiritual concept, trust me, you are not alone. But the text we're diving into today offers an absolute masterclass in bypassing all that confusion. We're going to explore how turning abstract facts into vivid mental imagery doesn't just help us memorize them, but actually allows us to feel and experience them on a much deeper level. So let's kick things off by asking a fundamental question about how we, as human beings, actually learn and process new info. Think about your own life for a second. What truly makes a complex subject click for you? Is it reading a dry, multi-paragraph textbook definition? Or is it a powerful story that suddenly plays out right in front of your eyes like a movie? Human cognition is absolutely wired for narrative, and as we analyze our source material today, I really want you to keep this question in the back of your mind. Section 1. The narrative power of stories. The source material we're looking at, specifically the introduction to a renowned work known as Küçük Sözler, does something brilliant. It completely avoids throwing dry, abstract concepts at the reader. Seriously, it could have easily been just another dense theological manual. But instead, it opts for this highly visual, super accessible approach. It recognizes that profound truths of faith are often just way too vast to be captured by academic jargon alone, so it anchors them in imagery that literally anyone can understand, no matter what their background is. And what's really fascinating is how beautifully relatable these recurring allegories are. We're talking about a disciplined soldier, a weary traveler, a powerful sultan, a vast desert, a clear duty. You definitely don't need a PhD in philosophy to know what a massive, daunting desert feels like, or to understand the absolute exhaustion of a traveler. By using these everyday archetypes, the author is instantly bringing these deep, seemingly unreachable philosophical ideas completely down to earth.
Section 2. Addressing the inner world.
Now, you might be wondering, how is this kind of moral or spiritual guidance delivered without sounding totally preachy or arrogant? Well, it requires a massive perspective shift in how the author addresses the audience. One way is your standard top-down lecture, hey, you are doing wrong, you need to fix this. And naturally, when we hear that, our psychological defenses go right up. But the alternative approach actually taken here is, I am speaking to my own soul. The author addresses his own inner world first, rather than pointing a finger at the reader.
This specific stylistic choice is what experts might call a brain-building technique. By speaking to his own ego and his own soul, the author immediately lowers our defenses. We aren't being scolded. It's more like we're being invited to eavesdrop on a deeply personal diary entry. It transforms the entire learning process from a harsh, one-sided lecture into this totally collaborative, shared journey of discovery. Section 3. Why the military metaphor? Out of all the allegories used, why does this text lean so heavily on the metaphor of military discipline and soldiers? Part of the reason is actually remarkably practical. Historically speaking, the author anticipated that soldiers would be among the very people seeking to understand and carry these profound words forward. But beyond just knowing the demographic, the military environment provides the ultimate stage for demonstrating totally invisible truths through highly visible actions. Let's really look at military discipline here, because this is crucial. It perfectly encapsulates core pillars like unwavering duty, strict discipline, respecting the chain of command, and absolute trust. Think about it for a second. Concepts like trust, submitting to a higher power, understanding your duty, those are completely invisible concepts. But in a military setting, they become undeniable physical realities. A soldier resting easy because they fully trust their commander's logistics is a physical manifestation of spiritual reliance. The discipline of the barracks, the solidarity among the troops, these elements make abstract virtues undeniably visible in action. So by using this specific military framework, a highly abstract truth suddenly acts like a dynamic catalyst. It transforms into a living, breathing scene playing out right in your mind's eye. You aren't just trying to conceptualize what surrender to a higher will means. You are literally visualizing a soldier confidently marching, totally free from the anxiety of sourcing his own rations because he knows the army has his back. It is an incredibly powerful pedagogical tool. Section 4. Windows to the truth. Now, let's examine the critical boundary of how we should actually interact with these metaphors. Take a look at the concept of tevekkül. Roughly translated, it means placing your ultimate trust and reliance in a higher power, but only after doing your own part. It is a deeply beautiful, foundational concept in faith. But if a young person today hears this word completely isolated from any real-world context, it's probably going to feel pretty alien, archaic, or just totally disconnected from their fast-paced modern life.
But watch what happens when you contrast that dry definition with a highly vivid scene. Picture a traveler. They pack their bags carefully, they study the maps, they do absolutely everything in their power to prep for a brutal journey. And then, they confidently purchase a ticket, lean back, and trust the captain of the ship to navigate the rough waters. Suddenly, boom, the concept of tevekel instantly clicks. It's not passive laziness at all. It's active preparation followed by ultimate trust. And this brilliantly illustrates what is probably the most profound takeaway from the source material. It goes like this. Representation is not the truth itself. It is a window opening to the truth. The soldier, the traveler, the vast desert, they aren't the actual point of the lesson. The metaphor is simply the window. And our goal as learners is not to walk up and get stuck analyzing the glass or debating the intricate woodwork of the window frame. The allegory's only job is to give us a vantage point so we can look through it, out at the breathtaking, expansive landscape of truth it reveals on the other side. We just use the story of the soldier to understand the reality of our own spiritual duties. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a powerful, highly actionable question. I really encourage you to ask yourself this next time you face a difficult, abstract concept, whether that's in your studies, your work, or your own personal growth. Stop fighting the dry definitions and ask yourself, which scene can visualize this truth in my mind? Because ultimately, human beings are narrative creatures. Complex facts, deep spiritual realities, and profound philosophies, they must almost always first become stories in our minds before they can truly anchor themselves permanently in our hearts. By mastering the art of the allegory, we unlock a much richer, more vibrant understanding of the world around us. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder. If every profound truth in your life requires a story to be understood, what is the story you are currently using to understand yourself?